Every nurse takes an oath to protect, to heal, and to preserve life. But what happens when a moment's mistake turns a healer into a criminal? In 2021, America was gripped by a story that blurred the line between human error and homicide. A nurse stood trial not for cruelty, but for a single tragic mistake. Please help this channel grow. Like the video, try the new hype feature, leave a comment and subscribe for more stories. This helps us a lot. Thank you. Her name RaDonda Vaught. And her case, the killer nurse on trial. This is the story that shook American healthcare, split the nursing profession, and forced a nation to ask, should a medical mistake be treated as a crime? Before she was a headline, RaDonda Vaught was a nurse known for kindness and precision. Colleagues described her as calm, confident, and deeply compassionate. She worked at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, one of the top hospitals in Nashville, Tennessee, a place where science and humanity were supposed to meet. She loved her job. Her patients trusted her. But behind every nurse's steady hands are hours of exhaustion, constant alarms, and pressure that never ends. In 2017, hospitals across America were busier than ever. Staff shortages, new software systems, machines replacing manual checks. Even the most experienced nurses were struggling to keep up. No one could have predicted that a single keystroke would change everything. It was December 26, 2017, the day after Christmas. Inside Vanderbilt's radiology unit, the halls were quiet. 75-year-old Charlene Murphy had been admitted after a brain bleed. She was recovering well and was scheduled for a final PET scan before going home. Doctor's orders were simple: administer Versed, a mild sedative to calm the patient. RaDonda walked to the automated medication dispensing cabinet, a large computerized machine that stores hospital drugs. She typed V for Versed. Nothing appeared. The system was slow as usual. So she overrode the machine, a common practice at Vanderbilt. Hundreds of overrides happened every day to keep up with patient flow. This time the override produced a different drug, vecuronium bromide, a powerful paralytic agent that stops breathing during surgery. She didn't notice. She drew the liquid, verified the patient's name, and injected it. Within minutes, Charlene Murphy stopped breathing. Her body went still. Her eyes froze open. When the code team arrived, it was already too late. Most people faced with such horror would panic or hide. RaDonda did neither. She immediately told her supervisors what had happened. She admitted the error in full, no hesitation, no excuses. It was my fault. I grabbed the wrong medication. Her honesty stunned those around her. Administrators promised a review. But behind the scenes, Vanderbilt's leadership was more concerned about damage control. They classified Charlene Murphy's death as a normal occurrence. They failed to report it to state or federal authorities, a direct violation of medical safety law. The family received a private settlement, and the case quietly disappeared. Until investigative reporters discovered the cover-up. The truth exploded across national headlines. And by 2021, the story of RaDonda Vaught was back, but this time in a criminal courtroom. In March 2021, the district attorney of Nashville announced something unprecedented. RaDonda Vaught would be charged with reckless homicide and gross neglect of an impaired adult. She was accused of causing Charlene Murphy's death not by accident but through criminal negligence. This sent shockwaves through the medical world. Because for decades, medical errors were handled internally through disciplinary action, retraining, or license suspension. Rarely, if ever, did such cases end in handcuffs. Across the nation, nurses watched the headlines with fear. One mistake could now mean prison. The courtroom was packed. Outside, hundreds of nurses from across the country held candles and protest signs. We are human. Support RaDonda. Don't criminalize compassion. Inside, the prosecution presented their case. They argued that RaDonda ignored multiple warnings. The vial clearly said vecuronium. The machine displayed red warnings. She failed to monitor her patient afterward. To them, this was reckless disregard for human life. But the defense told another story, a story of systemic failure. Overworked nurses, malfunctioning machines, and a hospital that buried its own mistakes. They pointed to the culture of speed and pressure at Vanderbilt. RaDonda had simply done what everyone else did, override a system that didn't work. I'll never forget that day, she said through tears. I loved my patients. I never meant to hurt anyone. The courtroom fell silent. After 3 weeks of testimony, the jury reached a verdict. RaDonda Vaught was found guilty of criminally negligent homicide and gross neglect of an impaired adult. The room gasped. RaDonda wept. Outside, Nurses screamed in disbelief. It was the first time in modern U.S. history that a nurse had been convicted criminally for a medical error made during routine care. The message was clear and terrifying. If a nurse could be charged for a mistake, no one in healthcare was safe. The verdict ignited a national firestorm. On social media, hashtags trended for days. Hashtag RaDonda Vaught, hashtag nurses for RaDonda, hashtag healthcare justice. Nurses rallied in all 50 states. Many quit their jobs out of fear. Others vowed to fight for change. Medical experts warned that criminalizing honest mistakes would make hospitals less safe because staff would become afraid to report errors. Patient safety advocates called for just culture, an approach that focuses on understanding and preventing errors, not punishing them. Meanwhile, RaDonda stayed silent, waiting for sentence. On May 13, 2021, the world watched as RaDonda Vaught stood once more before the court. She faced up to 8 years in prison. The judge read letters from colleagues, from patients, and from strangers who saw her as a victim of a flawed system. When RaDonda spoke, her voice cracked. "I'm not the same person I was. I'll live with this forever." Then came the words no one expected. 3 years of probation. No jail time. RaDonda collapsed in tears. So did dozens of nurses who had traveled across the country to support her. Justice, mercy, and heartbreak, all in the same breath. The RaDonda Vaught case changed American medicine forever. Hospitals strengthened safety protocols. Nursing schools added ethics and legal awareness to their training. And the public finally saw what it means to be human in a system that demands perfection. For many, RaDonda was never a killer. She was a reminder that even heroes can fall and that compassion must guide justice. Her story sparked new conversations about mental health in nursing, accountability, and forgiveness. Today, RaDonda Vaught lives quietly in Tennessee, no longer a nurse, but forever remembered. Her mistake cost a life. Her trial changed a nation. And her story reminds us that behind every mask, every uniform, and every pair of steady hands, is a human being capable of care, compassion, and error.